Good afternoon. It's fascinating coming back to Africa many, many times, to the land of my forefathers, and having the opportunity to inspire teams, leaders, businesses to get to the next level. In extraordinary times, we need extraordinary leadership. Our heritage in Africa is stories. Stories can change culture, and culture is more powerful than strategy. So I'd like to tell you a couple of stories that can change the culture of your organization. Remembering, everyone can copy your strategy. Nobody can copy your culture. 80% of organizations around the world do nothing to change their culture. There's a small British bank called First Direct, founded 25 years ago. It was the first ever 24/7 telephone bank. Everybody said it could not be done, a bank without branches. It was brilliant. It's the most expensive bank to bank within the UK. It has the least customer churn. 10 years after being founded, it transformed itself to the 24/7 internet bank. But unlike most online businesses, it kept the telephone number. The chief executive, Chris Pilling, not your ordinary banker. He was the marketing director of Asda, the second largest supermarket in the UK. Interesting. All about the consumer. First Direct's wholly owned subsidiary of the mammoth HSBC, Europe's largest bank, slow, inward-looking, and you wouldn't say agile or customer-focused. They came out with a new strategy, IVR, the automated telephone answering system. They were pushing First Direct to change this new system and halve the number of people in their contact centers. Chris Pilling, chief executive, asked me to facilitate a conference and interview him so that he could tell a story that would prevent what he felt made First Direct special. From the day it was founded, if you call First Direct, within 3 rings, you get a human voice. When they became the 24/7 internet bank, he kept it. Most other organizations hide their telephone numbers. He kept it. You will get a human voice within 3 rings of that telephone. As I interviewed him, he told this story. Stories move culture. Culture moves organizations. He said on the tragic day of 9/11, there's a British woman working in the second tower. When the second plane went into the second tower, she was busy working as some machinery fell and trapped her. She couldn't move. She was losing consciousness, but she had her mobile phone in her hand. She made one phone call. Who did she call? She dialed First Direct. It's a British landlocked bank. It doesn't exist in North America, but she dialed First Direct. Why? A human voice within 3 rings. The operator answered, "Yes, can I help you? I'm in the second building, I'm trapped under the machinery." The operator worked out she was losing consciousness. "Yes, madam, can I help you? Can you please contact my husband?" "Yes, one of my colleagues is contacting your husband as we speak." "Can you contact my children?" "Yes, another one of my colleagues is contacting your children." A third colleague had been told to contact the emergency services. She kept the woman speaking for 45 minutes until the emergency services arrived. Let me ask you, was that training, was that development, or was that culture? I was asked to chair a conference in Atlanta. Keynote speaker Rudolph Giuliani. He just lost the nomination for the Republican presidency in America. Not the most charismatic person I've ever met, not the most powerful speaker, but he told a story I'll never forget. I don't want you to forget it either. He said in the 1960s, he was born in New York, grew up in New York. In the 1960s, during the Civil Rights activist time, his father said to him when he was 8 years old, said, "Rudy, I want you to take note of these civil rights activists. They're a bunch of communists and they're dangerous for America. And by far the most dangerous of the lot is Martin Luther King." As history would have it, on that Sunday, just after his father had spoken to him, Martin Luther King was come to Central Park, New York, to address thousands. His father said to him, "Son, I want you to come with me and listen to how dangerous this man really is." After 15 minutes, he's holding his father's hand. Martin Luther King is on the podium. He's electrifying the audience. He's holding his father's hand. He noticed his father's hand go cold and sweaty. After 30 minutes, he looks up. There's a tear falling down his father's eye. As they're going home, his father says, "Son, we've just been in the presence of greatness. That man stands for one thing and one thing only, non-violence." And in those troubled and dark times, things got very bad indeed. Beatings, shootings, lynchings, rapings. Somehow Martin Luther King and all of his followers always managed to turn the other cheek. So much so, they went on to shame a nation into changing its stance on civil rights. So let me ask you, what do you stand for? What makes you special? Why should anyone be led by you? No one remembers a departmental strategy. Everybody remembers David and Goliath. For us Africans, storytelling is our heritage. Stories can change culture. Stories can define the vision for everyone in your organization. Let's not forget our heritage. Leaders tell stories. Thank you very much for listening to me.